Yes, today we're joined by the GLEN'S Vodka Scottish Premiership Manager for September. Graham Alexander! Where's your award, mate?
It's back at the flat.
Up the mantelpiece?
Yeah, it's a month later. We haven't won since I got it, so it's sort of just buried away, unfortunately.
But mate, you're living in the West End of Glasgow.
Aye.
What a place, eh?
Yeah.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I've been staying in Hamilton, in Motherwell, but then in the summer I came here, and I'm just a mile up the road from here, so I walked down. It was great place, see loads of people. Been out with a couple of the boys, Tomo.
So Stephen Thompson, have you seen him?
Went out with him.
Is he still a loose cannon?
No, sensible now. He's on the TV, isn't he?
Did you play with at Burnley? Was that?
Yeah. Scotland at first, and then Burnley. So he's a great guy, and so it's good. Went out, met Callum Davison last week because he's good mates with him as well. So great place, though.
Can't wait to get an invite today, Davey. Brilliant, man. I was too used to. Go for a pint?
No parties, mate. No parties. Look at the age of me now, mate.
Still look great,
coffee shops.
Mate, you're dressed for the West End too. Very happy with the cluster, innit? Hipster,
Are you happy with that?
No, you're looking cool, mate. So, anyway, how's your season going, mate?
Really good until I got that award.
So what you need?
No, we started really well. I feel until like the last couple of results, but I think we had to try. The first job coming in January was keeping the club in the Premiership. Yeah. We were bottom of the league when we come in Jan, and then we've rebuilt the squad, brought a lot of new players in, and we're sort of getting them bedded into Scottish football really, because there's a lot of boys that are new to Scottish football, and it's a different tempo, intensity. But really happy with the players, but the last couple of results have been hurtful. Yeah. People
forget to, like you've just said, like, if you were to sit here now and you were to tell me that when Motherwell took over from Motherwell, they were bottom, like, people forget that, didn't they? It's like as soon as you lose 3 or 4 games, there's an outcry of he's not doing a great job, but you forget where you actually took over at Motherwell. How bad was it when you first came in?
It was difficult. It was difficult, and I spoke to the previous manager, Steve Robinson, about what it was, because obviously it was good to get that inside info, but I didn't want him to talk about the players. So I wanted to have a clean slate with them, so I came in fresh eyes. I didn't want any preconceived ideas. But we were bottom of the league. Joint bottom on goal difference with I think it was Hamilton at the time, and we had to get some wins really early, and we didn't probably feel safe, and probably until about 4 or 5 games to go. But we finished season really well. Which gave us optimism, but we had to change a lot of the players because I think we had 42 players when we came in January.
Wow.
17 injuries, and won for 10 games, 4 in 20 or something like that. So it was a difficult job. I knew what it was going to be like, but I knew that we'd get really good support from the people at the club. And I knew there were some good players in that squad without a shadow of a doubt, but we just needed to refocus them on winning games.
He was actually part of the problem, and I'm not a grass, but through that bad run, him and Tony Watt were playing Mortal Kombat till 3 in the morning, wasn't it?
Every night.
3 in the morning?
4, 5, 6 some nights before training.
He needs to chuck that PlayStation in the bin, don't you?
You've thrown him under the bus here now. No, I know, because look, my son plays on those games and he knows Tony's on that. Playing those, and
does he come and tell you?
So does your boy play against Tony on the games?
I think he has done a few times. Yeah. I'm not up to speed with it, but I know he's been on those.
Guaranteed Tony when he's a shite bag, and definitely the Gaffer's boy.
Yeah, so he's. But look, I think all players have free time and have to do what they want. But for me, staying up till 3 in the morning.
No, that's
advisable.
You used to do that, didn't you? You used to do that. Just don't, Tony. And I know I'm jumping a wee bit ahead side, but I think it's good to take that.
You've used what you said.
You said that really well. You see that. Yeah. Just on Tony Watt, we were talking before. Like, I played with Tony when he was young, and he had all the attributes. Saying I've told you many times to be a real top striker, but for whatever reason, he's just not found that consistency. But this season, under yourself, he has. What have you done with him, or have you seen changes in him? Brilliant, isn't
it? Look, we have. Look, he was great for us in our fight to stay up as well. His performances, his fighting qualities, his competitiveness, without scoring the goals that I felt he could. We started the season, this season. We played really well against Hibs, got beat. I left him out the week after, which obviously he wasn't happy about, but I felt that we needed that genuine goal threat. We had a good, real, honest conversation before the next game and then going into the next week about that he had to focus on what strikers have to focus on or get judged on at the end of the season, on goals and scoring goals. It wasn't a case of I didn't think he had the ability. I just thought he had to focus his mind on when we're in certain areas and we're getting the ball delivered in certain areas, he has to be in there to get those goals. I didn't want to take anything away from his build-up play, his link-up, his competitiveness, but I just wanted that last 10% in the final third to get in where goals are scored. And to be fair, we, us and the coaches and worked on it with all the players, the forwards, but Tony really grasped the nettle and sort of got into those goal scoring areas. We started hitting the target a lot more in training. Yeah. Because if you're not scoring in training, I don't see how it transfers into games. Exactly. So you got to start somewhere. And we noticed straight away that it focused his mind and he was getting those areas and putting it away and then transferred it into games. So look, obviously that's our job to help him and help all our players to find that. But ultimately it comes down to the player to get over that. We've all been there. It's up to you to go across the white line and take it on. So every credit to him.
But he's not the only one you've developed, because there's a number of boys that have got international call-ups under your regime. Yeah. Must take great pride in that.
Yeah, well, but similar to that, ultimately. You're
not caring about that. You want them to do well for Motherwell, mate. That's it.
Oh, yeah, but listen, without doing well for your club, you don't get that recognition. There's always stepping stones and a process to success, and you have to start one step at a time. And playing well for your club is the first thing. Well, the first thing is actually getting in the team for your club, then playing well, then helping winning games, and then you get the recognition that the team's getting recognition. And I think that's what some of our players have benefited from. The results that we've had over a period of time have put the spotlight on the players that are doing well for the team. And I think they're getting the benefits of that. We've got Juhani Ayala back in the Finland squad as well. I think Bevis Mugabe, is going to be back in the Uganda squad. We've got obviously Stephen O'Donnell already in there. Liam Kelly's had that international recognition. Tony Watt's pushing for that. So it's good for us. It's good for us. I think we want those players. I was lucky enough to have that sort of recognition. And I want my players to have that if they can. And but I always link it back to it's about the team. The team has to do well for each individual to feel the benefit of that recognition, to be honest. So my recognition as an individual player came from on the back of my team doing well, Preston North End, Burnley. If I weren't having success with that team, then I wouldn't have had any other recognition after that. So,
are you a manager that coaches, Graham?
Yeah. I'm on the grass every day. Yeah.
I love that.
If I didn't have that, I'm thinking, well, I could do any other job to do anything. But I wanted to be a manager, to be a coach, or wanted to be a coach. When I was taking the qualifications, when I knew my playing days were coming towards the end, I wanted to be back out on the grass with footballers. Because I've got a manager's job, I don't want to take that enjoyment away from myself. And I think I know what I want from a team. I think I do use my coaches more than I previously did. When I first became manager at Fleetwood, I was very much controlling everything and, and very dogmatic about that. But as I've got more experience, I've involved my assistant a lot more, who's been with me the whole time. And then whichever coach I've sort of inherited at each club, we've always give them responsibility as well. I think it's that, but I love being out on the grass. It's
You didn't still wear the shitty Puma Kings, did you?
No, Copers.
Are you still Copers?
Yeah, Copers, mate.
I want to see you in a pair of yellow Vapors, man.
I dabbled once with a different colour pair of boots. It was my second season at Burnley. I was trying to, and had a good first season there.
I knew I
thought, right, new start, fresh start. Coyle was the manager and everything. And so first game of the season, wore white pair. I think there might have been Pumas actually, white pair of Puma Kings or something. Heels were away, got pumped 4-1, walked in change room, took them off, put them in the bin, got the Copers back out. And to be fair, that was the year we got promoted to the Premier League guy. So I had one game out of 1,000 odd games in a white pair of boots. So
does he have to wear white for 1,000 game though, didn't he? Can
I say something? He's talked about Fleetwood there, right? Which he done a good job, but one of the worst decisions he ever had for Fleetwood. Do you know what's coming here?
Did you?
No signing me.
Not so, yeah. Remember I met you at Tickle Chat, didn't I?
I was on Rightmove checking, looking for houses in Fleetwood. Keep following it. You still not a word back.
So you have met each other and the deal's about to happen?
I think, was it...
Who's your agent?
Was it Mike Drew? Remember Mike drew it?
It might have been he was asking for bundles. He thought we had like stashes of cash under the tables at Fleetwood and all this. Like, he was like, Fleetwood, they've got all the money. And I was,
had they been coming for him?
His agent was asking for, he was going, you're doing the job. And I was like, we can't pay that. We can't.
Because I was at Swindon before it, and I was saying to my missus, we'll be moving to Fleetwood now, closer up the road 3 years, because she was desperate to get closer to the road. Then he patched us, mate. I had to move to fucking Portsmouth, even further away from Glasgow. She was absolutely devastated. And then we played you that season, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did you
guess who was MOM?
Did you?
Over the Tannoy, do you remember that? You beat us 1-0.
I was just going to say, you got the MOM, we got the points.
That's it.
I'll take that way around too.
Can you remember him when you were talking to him, no?
Yeah.
Was you just asking him?
I'd heard that side before. I think it might have been through David Lucas. Obviously, David Lucas was my goalkeeper coach at the time. He was only had a job for about 2-3 weeks, and I brought him in straight away. And obviously, he played with you, hadn't he? So, I wanted someone like lively, energetic, and all that sort of stuff. But someone who could, we'd pay less than 10 grand a week. But yeah, no, I remember we met at the Tickle Cheltenham and had a great chat and everything.
I got lunch, didn't I? Paid it.
No chance.
That's amazing. I wonder what you've seen. You must have said something there that went, nah.
Was there something about it that you didn't like?
No, because I like, character and personality and stuff like that. So, no, it wasn't that. I think it was just the sheer bundles he was asking for.
He does that here as well.
And then he chose the biggest club in the league at that time, which was Portsmouth, which obviously could afford it.
Did you just win the league that year? You did, didn't you?
We got promoted. We got promoted for player final, yeah.
So you did.
So, but yeah, we went.
And we finished fucking 17th.
What a decision for you not to sign him, man. What a decision. But can I just say, you've always been big on it, Si, and you always say to me, you phone me up quite a lot and say the standard for England to here is much quicker here. Have you found the same since you've come back here, that the standard is much quicker?
The standard?
The standard.
The tempo is much quicker.
I think the tempo is very quick. Look, England's tough as well. But I think the sheer amount of games in England when you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, no international breaks, it becomes a grind after a period of time. Yeah. So I think the games slow down a little bit from the players. Yeah. Whereas I think up in Scotland, you get the international breaks, it's Saturday, so the energy levels can be kept. And I think it's the intensity with the crowd demand that. And I think the games are very hectic and end to end. So, but I think there's circumstances for that. I
would imagine that must be very, as you said, you're a coach. I would imagine that's hard to coach when it is so quick end-to-end stuff. To get your message across to players.
Yeah, but we get the time in between. The Saturday. That's the thing. So speaking to the previous manager, Steve Robinson, who managed in England for a spell at Oldham before, I just asked him what do you think how it compares, differences in that, and he said you get time in between the games to coach and train. The players get time to recover for the next game and stuff like that, the international breaks. So, because we know down in England, 50, 55 games a season is tough. So it's, but it's good. I like the time on the grass in between. I think it's really important. I think it's really important for us, and we can try and analyse our games a bit better because you don't get the time in England.
See, talking about time.
Yeah.
You see Gary Neville's comments. He should have given you a longer at Salford.
Aye.
Would you go along with that? Should you have been given?
Gary Neville said that a lot, mate.
Yeah. What, longer
never
than...
shuts up about you, man. Sick of hearing them talking about you.
Should have got longer than 5 unbeaten games at the start of the season.
So was that what it was? 5 unbeaten?
Yeah, league games,
And talk us through it.
And we'd knocked Championship Club out in the Cup as well, and so...
So did you have any inkling that it was coming?
Yeah, I think I did, yeah. In fact, I know I did, yeah. Because at that time, if we're being honest, me and him, it had been rumbling on for a little bit from the previous season.
Right.
I think he had ideas on what we should look like. I had ideas because of my experience and what we'd already done at that club and previous clubs, because we'd won promotion at Fleetwood, created a winning team at Scunthorpe, which is why I wanted to go there, and I understood the pressures. But I think he knows he was quite impatient at the start of the season, which is my agreement with him. I think he has very strong ideas on football. I have very strong ideas on football. And there was a rubbing along the way.
Who rubbed who? He rubbed you?
I think a bit of both.
Rubbing each other?
No. Look, I think, I look back and I wouldn't change anything that I did. I wouldn't. I said that at the time. And sometimes football can happen like this. You have your principles, how you work, how you behave, how you live. I think if you change them and become someone you're not, then you don't have an identity. I do have an identity. But Gary, in the main, was good to work for. I knew I took that job on the basis of the pressure to win would be there. You know what I mean? Really intense. We dropped out of the league to take the job, which was a big decision for me. But we got promotion straight away into the Football League. The second season, we actually got to a cup final as well, but unfortunately it wasn't played because of COVID until the season after, when I'd gone. So we got to the club to 2 cup finals, 1 promotion. So I was proud of the job I did there, but it was the right time for us to part ways, without a doubt. So it wasn't one where I was completely devastated to leave. I was actually quite content because I felt something wasn't right and something had to happen.
Just stick the payoff in the bank, Gary, now.
No, it wasn't the case of that, because our professional pride and is to win and to survive and succeed. But I knew before that, and I said it to my assistant when we'd spoke, that I don't think we'll be there throughout that season, regardless.
Right.
That was my feeling on it, and it proved to be quite spot on, but early in what I probably expected. But when it happened, I was actually, I wouldn't say in agreement, but I was actually, I think it's right.
Is that the life of a football manager now? Is it at that specific club, or is that like that everywhere now you go? You think I'm not going to get the time that I need to?
Well, the previous job, I lost my job at Scunthorpe, and we were 5th in the table.
You better stop doing well.
I know, mate. Honestly, I went into Scunthorpe, and they'd been in the bottom half of League One for 18 months, and we immediately turned it around and got them to 7th in the last 9 games of that season. And then we finished 3rd the season after, and then we were 5th with 7 games to go, and I lost my job then. So that gave me an inkling of football going right. Win games, do what you can for that club, but anything can happen like that.
Why has it got like that? Why has football got like that?
I think there's intense pressure on everybody, on everybody in football, managers, players, boards, owners, and it's how you handle that pressure. Some people handle it really well. Some people have a panic. Some people listen to the outside noise. It could be like that. That's what I felt has happened in the previous job, not the Salford one. And that's what it is. But for me, it's like as a player, you play how you play. Another manager comes in. You could be gone because you don't play his way.
Yeah.
But your style of play, other manager will go, I like him. And I think it's the same as a manager now, that you do your job well. You get success for the teams that you manage, which we fortunately have done. But any time it can change. But you hope there's another owner out there, club that you go, actually, they've done a good job. We'll take over. Okay. But it sort of goes against what I was as a player, as in I had longevity, all the 4 clubs. I played for 24 years. And I
had to drag you to Burnley, didn't I?
And Preston, and I played. I think the lowest I played was probably 200 games for one club. 200 games, 400 or whatever it was. So I felt I was quite loyal and wanted to have longevity at clubs. And I wanted to do that as a manager. Yeah. And I quickly realised it's nigh on impossible. Yeah. But I still don't want to change the person I am by being cynical and disloyal and win some games and look at the next opportunity. I actually want to achieve something at a club and have longevity, but it's difficult.
Sorry, I don't want to keep talking, but see on Gary Neville, what is he expecting at Salford? Is he expecting just to go right up all the leagues straight away?
Yeah, pretty much. yeah. But you know what? It was. Look, it became that. That wasn't how it was described to me when we first. It was. Look, I think they'd had. Correct me if I'm wrong. 3 or 4 promotions in the previous 4 or 5 years. So I think they'd had 1, maybe 2 years without a promotion.
That was for the dog and duck leagues, wasn't it? I could get them promoted.
But listen, you still have to win. Yeah. You still have to win, and it's still a difficult job. The expectation, all this lot. So from the outside, it can look like that, but there's a lot of pressure. And I understood once I took that job, every single other team and player wants to pump you, wants to beat you. That is it. I realised that really quickly. But if it hadn't been like that, if they just said, we just want to be average and mediocre, then I wouldn't have dropped from being a League One manager to that job. So I went there because of that pressure. But they were going to support you in that by giving you money to sign good players and all that sort of stuff. So, it was that. But I did see that as a real good project to actually, because their ambition was to go through leagues, which I wanted to do as a manager. I went, well, I'm going to jump on that horse and ride that horse through to there. Because ultimately they do want to get to the Premier League. I think the Championship was there, sort of, can we get to there as quick and then do that? And I thought, I want to be part of that. So, going in there and then going, oh, you want instant success. If I'd have been moaning about that, would have been, well, that's why I came here. Yeah. But we did have when I first went there, it was a 2-year project to get into the league, which we did in 1 year. So, so that was the thing. So, okay, there's going to be 1 year where it just slows down a little bit. But even in that year, we still got to a cup final. So does
that not put you off management at all? Stuff like that?
I think it highlights how hard it is, how difficult it is. Yeah. But we know as footballers, being a professional footballer is hard. It's a great job. It's a brilliant career. But there's times where you have to grind and go through it. Who likes doing a pre-season? Who likes not going out with their mates and all that? Like, we want to do those things, but you sacrifice, you do it because at the end of it, you get to have a good time on the pitch. And for me, I love football. I can't sit here and go and think, I think I'd rather do that or rather do that. Actually, whenever the scenario is, I want to be a coach. So it all brings back. So, there's tough times. Everyone goes through tough times, difficult days, this, that, the other. But ultimately, I want to be a successful manager, and that's why. What
about Salford? Any unusual experiences like David? Was Bex not popping in every now and again?
No, he joined the board in my first season there when we won promotion. He came to one game. He was announced, and he came to one game, and then understood what his life sort of looked like because he came to the ground. He was a great guy. He came into our office, met all the staff, and then we took him into the change room, which was a metal shipping container at the time. Right. And honestly, it was from here to here, the change room. Honestly, it was this bit here. 17 players, a few coaches. We're all like this. And then he came in with basically a media scrum round him. Honestly, it was like being in a mosh pit. And it was, and he was, he was great, friendly and everything, but he couldn't move. And then he walked out, and I watched the scrum follow him out, and I was like, I couldn't.
Is he gorgeous though?
Well, I tell you what, when we got to the Wembley final, and obviously we were successful, won, and then all the guys came onto the pitch at the end, and obviously they were a big pull, a big draw for everybody that either played for the club or coached for the club, because they're the people that run it and own it. So they come onto the pitch and they're with the boys and everything, and then we went to a pub after. So we were supposed to drive back to Manchester, but got invited to a pub in London. I think it was Guy Ritchie's.
Right.
Obviously, I think David was mates with him and everything. So it was just all us lot, and they were all in there. So it was sing song, all that sort of stuff. But my assistant Chris is a big Man U supporter. He wouldn't leave Bex alone.
Oh no!
So he's
to be fair,
he's got so many pictures of him kissing his face and all this lot. And Big Chris is like 40 ex centre half, hard as nails, like, and I'd see him just go.
Crystal Kitty, that was
Crystal Kitty, like, and he's just looking at Bex like that. And it was brilliant, and he's just got that charisma, hasn't he? About people, and he's a really friendly guy. So it was those sort of things you see that, but you see the thing around him it's impossible.
What was that pressure to all them? Because most of them sat up in the glass looking at you managing, didn't they?
Yeah.
Is that always in the kind of back of your head? They're up there.
No, not really, because I knew it was there. But once the Queen could be sat behind me, and I wouldn't even have a clue. You know what I mean? It would be like just the game. It's the game. You see it after, or they come in, or whatever. But apart from that, Gary was the main link. The other guys had their own things and came to the odd game, but we didn't really see them. But obviously that day when we won promotion was fantastic, and they were with us and all that sort of stuff. So they came in the change rooms and all that lot. So it was good from that. But the pressure of that, I think, honestly, you can speak, any manager could sit here now and he'll tell you there's pressure around his job. That's what it is. It was just, it just usually cracked me up when, if we'd lose a game or something. And obviously they had a lot of guests, famous guests. So Roy Keane was there a lot of times, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Sir Alex Ferguson, all this. Like, we'd come to the games. And then if we got beat, the media was saying, "Oh, Graham, are you worried because Roy Keane's in the stadium?" I'm going, I mean, if you go over there, there's someone famous over there every single week. Do you know what I mean? And Sir Alex was there last week. I'm not sure if he's going to take the Salford job either. So it was, it was part of the thing. I sort of tried to shy away from the drama thing that was on, because obviously the programme was being made and all that sort of stuff, which wasn't particularly my cup of tea sort of thing. But
it's tough, isn't it, when there's a camera in the dressing room on you, what you say.
We sort of had, we had a little bit of control over that when there was this man to speak to my players, this, that, right. But it was difficult sometimes. But I understood what the whole scenario. My eyes were open before I went into it. I'd still do it again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I actually had some really good times, met a load of good people, had success. But I felt it was the right time to leave as well.
Yeah. Wow. Did you speak to Sir Alex? Sorry, just last question on that.
No, he was on the other side with those guys. I didn't know until after the game that he was there. But there was always somebody coming to the games and everything like that. So, but I remember the first game when David Beckham was there. It was because I think he was sat on the back row, because that's in front of their box, and the whole of that stand did not watch any of the game. So the game's there, they're all like this.
With the backs to the game?
Just like this, the whole game, just seeing what he was doing. It was amazing. You couldn't see anyone's face on the other side of the pitch. It was like, so we'd have a shot or something and you couldn't hear anything from it. They were just like...
looking up at Bex.
And trying to get selfies with him in the background. So it was a mad experience, really unique. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. It was tough times, good times, but I would do it all again.
Amazing. What about on your own managers for your playing career? One that stands out, Walter Smith, your manager international. How good was he as a manager and a guy? Yeah,
I think obviously everyone spoke a lot about Walter in the last couple of weeks, because it was really sad, his passing. And I just my experience with him was I obviously got picked for Scotland under Bertie Vogts. I had 12, 13 caps under him, and then I was out of the squad for maybe a year or so, probably just a bit over. So I think I was 34, 35. So obviously never, said, that's me or anything. But you're looking, you're 34, you haven't been in the squad for a year.
It's done.
My that's it. Great while it lasted, but that's it. And I felt like I was almost seen as like a Bertie experiment. Not really, the media, the supporters, all that lot, it's like, what was that? Waste of time sort of thing, really. I genuinely felt that. And
Kevin Kyle, you and Kevin Kyle, wasn't it?
Big Kyler. So,
did you go on Big Kev, sorry? Did you like Big Kev?
Hopeless, wasn't it?
Yeah. You have playing for Scotland, didn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know Kev when because I came into the squad. I think I was 30 when I first come in, and he was 19, 20. So I remember that I think we went to Hong Kong in the first summer, my one cap, and we went out on for a few drinks one night, and I was with Kyler and Tom and a few boys, and he didn't know who I was either. And he didn't know I was 30. You know what I mean? So and we're talking away, and he's going, "You're 30?" I'd be devastated if I got my first cap at 30. Honestly, as he said, big Kev, right? And we've had a few beers. I went, think, mate. I goes, I'd be devastated if I got my last cap at 21. You know what I mean? And he was like, so I was like, so I thought it was quite good for me that coming back straight away, Shabby. So it's just like it just closed him down a little bit. But he's a good guy, Kyle. I played against him in the champ when he was at Sunderland and Preston and all that stuff. So so it was, so it was. I loved it, and I didn't get that. But for me, winning, I think it was 13 caps, and I was buzzing. I was like, I'd won the lottery, getting 13 caps for Scotland. But then anyway, it was the end of the season, the following season, and I think there was a few injuries with the Scotland team, and call out of the blue, didn't know who it was, number, picked it up, and it was Walter, and he just said, he goes, listen, I know you've been out of the squad for a long time, this, that, the other. but we've got a couple of friendlies coming up. Friend qualifiers in the summer, in a couple of weeks. I'd like to call you up and all this lot. And I was like, I wasn't there. And it come in my head that I'm supposed to be on holiday. Like we'd saved up for a few years. I weren't on massive money, at the time. And we sort of thought about going on a cruise because we'd never done it, me and the missus and the kids. So I paid for it and all this lot. And it was, considerable amount of money, not enough money for me to lose sort of thing, you know what I mean? And I said, the only thing is, I've got this thing. So, right, I've got to find a way of trying and get my money back or something like that. He said, listen, and I've got to talk to the missus. He said, don't worry, son. He goes, listen, put her on. So I said, no, I'll get on. I thought, brilliant. You know what I mean? I said, no, look, it's best coming from me. I'll take the slap. You know what I mean? I said, I really appreciate it, but listen, I'll leave it with me. But honestly, I'm desperate to play. I'd love to be involved. He said, look, you will play these games. You know what I mean? Because it was my season, I think, had finished. Yeah. And I said, right, okay then. And then I spoke to the missus, and she knew how much playing for Scotland for me was massive for me. And she goes, well, look, she goes, but we can't afford to lose all that money. So, so we got a little bit back, but then Walter got the SFA to pay the rest. You know what I mean? And I was like, brilliant. And he sent flowers to my missus to apologise for it and all that lot. And it was an amazing gesture. And then I joined up with the squad. I played the 2 qualifiers, and I think I played, apart from one game, every game under Walter until he obviously left for Rangers. And he was just, and I've said this in the papers when, because I used to think Aura
didn't really exist.
Yeah, I thought it was a load of bollocks, to be honest. I did. You know what I mean? Because I'd, when someone's in the room and all this lot, and I was like, really, do you? You know what I mean? But then when I played in the Scotland squad with Walter, I went, that's what it is. You don't have to say anything. It's like, you just look and see if he's looking at you or something like that, and acknowledges you and stuff like that. And I thought, how's he doing that? Yeah. Why am I sort of trying to get his appraisal, his pat on the back, a smile? You know what I mean? It was just, I even to this day, I don't know what his history as a successful manager, but it's not that. It's not that the success people have. I think it's how they manage people, how they are with people. He had a great team of people around him with Tommy Burns, Alan Coyce, and all those guys. But that was brilliant. And I played under him, played nearly every game. And I felt then, I think because he was picking me, I think people in Scotland actually went, well, he must be
a good player,
half decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everyone.
Do you think that thing yourself as well? Walter Smith's picking me, I must be a good player.
Honestly, that was me. I felt, I knew that the first couple of games was emergency stations. So I actually went back into that squad thinking, well, these are 2 caps that I never thought I'd get. I thought I'd gone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to enjoy it. I completely relaxed. Before I was like, I need to stay in the squad. I went in there, I went, this might be the only 2 games I play again for Scotland, because the people will come back from injury, next season, come back into the squad, and so I'm just going to go and enjoy the games and just be buzzing about it. But I played, I got another 27 caps after. Wow. But I played for the next 2 years, and what was brilliant, like for that side of it, and great guy. Great.
Did Big Kev ever get called up again? Were you right? Do you
know what? I could have been really spot on. I think, but no, I think he must have. You'll have to check that, mate. Because if I put the kiss of death on him, well.
See there, you mentioned Tommy Burns and Alan McCoy. Were they unbelievable?
Yeah, brilliant. Because I mean, Tommy was involved, with the Bertie as well. And I remember, in Tommy, I remember there was a game in Iceland, and I was going to play. And I picked up an injury in training, and it was really early on in my Scotland career, and I was devastated. I picked up, I had a fitness test, and I was desperate to play. We did a fitness test in front of Bertie and Tommy, and it's like as a player, you're limping, going, I'm all right, I swear I'm all right. And get to this cone, and Bertie said, no. No. So I went back to my room and all this sort of gutted, and Tommy come up later on. Chapped on the door, came in, he said, listen, son, I know how desperate you are to play, love it, love your attitude. And it was brilliant. That
it's taking 5 minutes of his time to come in.
It was brilliant. And it was, he didn't have to do that, you know what I mean? It was, because we got a big game the next day, and then obviously when I came back into the squad, the scenario changed. It was under Walter, and obviously Tommy was with Coisty, and I saw the chemistry between. I think Walter just let them two
go a bit
banter about, slag each other. It was brilliant, and he'd just be chuckling away in the background and that. But then they'd take the training, and he'd step in and take the tactical stuff on it, and it was just a brilliant way of working, and all the players were so relaxed and focused and together. And it was what I felt was you got into the squad, you were desperate to play, but if you weren't picked, you were like, yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I'm still with it. And I'm still, you know what I mean? It made you feel great around the place. It was brilliant atmosphere, brilliant chemistry. And I remember, we beat France at Hampden. It was my 25th cap, so I'm getting a silver medal. And I remember 2 days before Walter picked the team, and I was in it, and I was on 24 caps, and I was like, you get a silver medal, 25, brilliant. I can't wait, 25 cap, and then we're going, but it's France. We could get pumped. So, do you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm going to get a silver medal and just put it in my pocket and scurry off. Do you know what I mean? But obviously we beat them, but I remember coming off the pitch and I had Henry's shirt tucked in my shorts like that. So he was the nearest one. Honestly, it was a pure coincidence that I was stood next to him on the final whistle. But stuck it in. And I remember coming off the pitch, and Tommy Burns was the first one there, and he picked me up like a kid, basically. You know what I mean? And I was 35 at the time, and the change room was mental. And it was like Sir Alex was in there, Moyes was in there, all Scots managers just going around. And I was just, this is why you grind and you stay in there and you play. It's for the days like this, because those sort of days didn't really happen to me a lot in my past career. So I was like, in heaven, so.
But Henry could have been going about the pitch like that. Where the fuck's Alexander?
Do you know what? I'd love to think that, but I'm sure that wasn't the case. I think he probably cleaned his boots and his shirt after and buggered off. But
great memories,
brilliant memories, and that for me was the ultimate for me. After I was 35 at the time. I played so many games in the lower leagues and all that sort of stuff. And I was sitting there in the change room after just beating France, 25th cap, all that stuff. I knew my dad and my granddad, two Glaswegians up in the crowd. And I was like, don't get better than this.
Did you cry? Be honest.
Aye.
Did you?
I did. When I saw my dad and my granddad upstairs.
That's amazing, mate.
I saw my dad and granddad upstairs and they were like, you know what I mean? And I thought, and that blew me away, to be honest. I can feel it now, actually. So, you know what I mean? But it was honestly, it was unbelievable.
Where's the medal on Henry's top now? Up in there?
I haven't got anything up, me. I just keep it all, and I've got it all up. It's I don't really, because I think then you're looking back. You know what I mean? And I always want to look front. So they're there, they're packed away and all that lot, the stuff. But I don't. If you walked in my house and that, you wouldn't know I played football or anything.
You'd be wearing that about the West End.
Have you got any other
Henry top medal?
Have you ever got any other amazing players' taps?
I am. And this is pure coincidence, by the way. I did not man-mark these guys for the last 2 minutes of games. But Del Piero when we played Italy, Pirlo when we played Italy. Honestly, it was just finding a whistle, and I'm like, right. You're the
last 2 minutes of the game, did you just start practicing?
No, that's what I'm saying. Pure coincidence, honestly. Pure coincidence, but it was. But honestly, so these are, I look back and I actually, if this is, if I'm being honest, when, after the Euros, I had those 2 Italy tops hung up in my office at work at Fir Park, because of the final.
Give them the big ones,
because obviously Chris Ligeti, a big England fan and all this lot, so there's a lot of stick flying about between us and all this. Every year, every tournament, it's we're between each other like that. And then that day, the next morning, I was going, when I went to penalties, I was going, come on. And as soon as I did, I got those tops out. He come in the office in the morning, and he come in, he went, and he looked around, there's those 2 Italy tops. I was like,
brilliant, man.
So I'm loving this today.
Good,
I'm really enjoying it. Sometimes with the interviews and you're kidding on, you're like, but this is unbelievable. A manager you mentioned there, Davy Moyes.
Aye.
Did you know he was going to go and be as good as he is?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What stuff did he do?
Dave Lucas used to say that when he came to you could tell Moyes was going to the top.
Kept that quiet.
Yeah. It was just, do you know what? I'd played against Moyes in because I was 27 when I joined. He was only, I think he's only about 6-7 years older than me. So I played against him in the lower leagues. And in fact, I scored the best ever goal I scored, actually, him chasing me. I scored for Scunthorpe.
Right.
So we played at Preston. We beat them 1-0. I was, I think, 23, and I was playing right wing there, but I made traditional across the line and in. Yeah. And I chipped the keeper from about 35 yards. And I didn't know it was him at the time, but when I watched the game, it's him that's chasing me about a yard away from me. And maybe that stuck in his head, you know, and he always looked at me.
So did he end up signing you?
He signed me that was 94, so he signed me 5 years later. You know, it's as a manager player that, you know, when they're trying to sign you, they say, listen.
They didn't phone you back, you're talking about you and me here?
No. Hey, I've had that as well as a player, don't worry about that. So, but, you know, they tell you, you're good at this, you do this, and you'll play here and all this lot. And I sat down with him and he went, you do this, but you're poor at this, aren't you? And you're a little bit lazy at that. And he goes, and you don't do this well. And I was like, I need to play for you.
That's brilliant.
Because I was 27 and I'd only played in the bottom 2 divisions.
Because every other man would just buttered you up trying to get you a sign.
And at that moment, I'd let myself run out of contract because I needed to get something to get in there, or I wasn't going to do it because I was, you know, near 30. So I was like, so he talked to me and I was like, this is the guy that's going to help me get to a higher level. And so it went on, and then I signed for him on deadline day, and he said that I'll make you a better defender, I'll make you fitter. And I thought I was a fit player, and I knew what fit really was once I played for him. And I thought it would take probably a month of coaching or something. You know, he was going to deal with me for a month and all that. Nah, every single day, every minute of every day, the whole time he was my manager, and Luke's will tell you that. Nothing went unchecked, unseen. Great, but it was like, and honestly, I had my moments with him, and he could have give up on me because I was quite, after a bit, why did you sign me? You think I'm crap? Or something like that. But then we won promotion, then we had success. And then one day he actually had a paper cutting from up here, and he showed me that, and it was him pushing me for the Scotland squad. And I was like, what?
But you never obviously seen that because it was
no, because it was up there, and I was like 29, so this is 2 years down the line, and he was like, "This boy, Craig Brown should come and look at him, and this boy should play for Scotland." He says, and I was like, you do believe me?" And honestly, the penny just went plop, and I just didn't argue with him at all from that. It was like, I'm just going to do whatever you say, and I did because he didn't let you do that, but it was just like, gone to the, you're picking on me, all that crap that I was doing before, typical fucking player. Yeah. It was like, right.
He's doing this for my best
that was it.
Obviously.
And it was brilliant. And honestly, it was, like I say, I thought I was fit. And then the first game I played for Preston, it was at Deepdale. We played Northampton League One. I think there was about 18,000 there. And we wiped the floor of them. But this was me after 60 minutes. Because of the tempo we played at and everything. And I remember the centre half next to me going, "You better get used to this, lad." My ass was hanging up, but like I was going, and I saw it come back for pre-season, and I was like, if I don't get to these levels, I'm not going to play in this team, and I want to play in this team, and I want to play for him. So I was like, boom, 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 and honestly, he saw something in me that I could do that, but he chiseled away all the crap, and pushed me and made me the sort of professional, I would say, that I needed to be. Because
see, when I met you at Seinfeld, I don't know if you remember this, but you were massive on how we came back fitness-wise for pre-season. Yeah. So would you say he's the main influence on your managerial career?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, definitely. I think that was when I had good managers and managers before that who had helped me, progress and stuff like that. But this was a different level. This was a different level, and it was just about every single day. Honestly, if he'd have seen me sitting here, they'd come over and goes, "How many sugars in that coffee?" I did. You know what I mean? It'd be like, one. Do you need one? And then walk off. And then the next coffee.
So you're sitting thinking about it as well?
Honestly,
Moyes is a genius.
I said this the day he left. We were good because we were like we got promoted. We won League One the next season. With 2 games spare. Then we got to the player final the season after in the championship with the exact same team basically and squad. And I think there was one player who played in the Championship out of that team that won League One.
Right.
Mark Rankin. I don't think there was any more, and yet we were the fourth best team. And the 3 teams that got promoted above us stayed in the Premier League for 10 years. I think Blackburn, Fulham, and Bolton. So it was a really high standard.
Yeah.
I was like, he's took us to the brink of this. 18 months ago, I was a journeyman League One footballer, and now I'm 1 game away from the Premier League. And
shows what a manager can do for you.
Honestly, it was that. And I just remember, and then when he left, he pulled me to the side, and I'm sure he spoke to other players, and he came back in. We were devastated, because he was leaving us 8 games to go. We were around, the playoffs again. But it was Everton, and it was a massive club. And there'd been things, Sheffield Wednesday, I think, year before, someone else year before, and we were always going, he stayed. But then it was like, when he come in and told us that he was going to Everton, it was like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was devastation. But he pulled me in, he said, look, because that paper clip he showed me, and then he said, I've got a meeting with Bertie Vogts in next week, because Duncan Ferguson was at Everton. He stopped playing for Scotland.
Yeah.
So I think Bertie was meeting Moyes to try and talk Duncan Ferguson into returning for Scotland. And he said, I'm going to talk about you as well. I'm going to try and get you in there. And then a month later, I made him Scotland debut on the Bertie. And I was just like, and I wasn't even his player then, you know what I mean? It was like that. And I just thought, it's great. And then for the rest of my career as a player, if ever I felt like I weren't training as hard as I should be or doing that, it was like he was always sitting on my shoulder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I almost I felt like I didn't want to let him down, even if it was 6 years ago that I played.
Because knowing him, he probably would be looking at your career.
I think it did, you know what I mean? Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And then like obviously, I think, and he actually said something really, and I think he said it publicly, but he said something nice to me, because he come back for a pre-season friendly, and he actually, and he said, I should have took you to Everton.
No.
You know what I mean? How was that? Me and Paul McKenna, another player.
I remember Paul McKenna, centre midfielder.
Yeah. And he said that to me, and I was like, and there was talk about it, because I got in the Scotland squad at the time. Yeah. I was like, I loved playing for Preston, but I loved playing for him as well. And I was like, if I go to Everton and all this, and it didn't happen. And I was devastated. But when he said that, I was like, because it was probably about 4 years later on, you know what I mean? And he said, I should have took you to Everton.
That 3-bed in a West End would have been a 5-bed in the West End.
Massive.
You know what I mean? But it was like that. But I played for Scotland, and 100% that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't played under him. I played in the Premier League at 37. I made my debut at 37 in Premier. I wouldn't have been that fit and that professional and had that opportunity if I hadn't played for him 10 years previous. And I remember playing against him at Everton. We actually beat them. It was our second home game. And we played Everton in the Premier, and we beat them 1-0. And obviously he was the gaffer on that. And it was good, because he came and spoke to me after and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, he was a great guy, brilliant guy. And I think he's 1,000 games tonight, isn't he, as a manager? So.
What a manager. See how you said he could be really hard on you sometimes as well. Do you think some players would struggle with that?
Yeah, no, some players did.
You obviously loved it, but...
No, I didn't love it. No, that's the thing. I didn't love it. I actually, no, what it was, I felt that I needed it.
Yeah.
When he spoke to me, he said this would be, and I felt that's what I needed. But like I said, I felt it would be for about a month, and then we'd crack on. But it wasn't. It was every day. It was like, what we doing today?
Did you see players crumble though?
Not crumble, but I saw players not get to those standards. Right. You know what I mean? And that was it. And they didn't play, or they didn't play as much, and then they went out. But it was such a brilliant time to play for Preston and play for him that it was like, I don't want to leave this club. I don't want to leave this team. So the ones that did that, stayed. And the other lads, it weren't like you went, right, you're not going to, it's just they fell by the wayside because they couldn't get to those levels all the time, or couldn't break into the team or whatever. And so he hardened you, he toughened you to what football was, and how fit you had to be and how organised and professional you had to be. But the lessons that it was, they stayed with me right to this day. You know what I mean? Right to this day, without a shadow of doubt. So,
but you can have all that, but you need to be good tactically as well. So do you have that side as well?
When you talk about it's like talking about a hard-working player. He works his nuts off, but they've got a good touch as well, and they're intelligent. But their work ethic sort of overshadows what actually good players they are. I think that's the same as managers. So I think I could talk about that, but if you take all that away from him, he knew the game. Yeah, he knew the game. We scored we were very hard to beat. As in didn't concede goals. We scored a lot of goals. You know what I mean, in both divisions. So he knew how to set teams up. He knew how to how to
find weaknesses in
find weakness in the opposition. I remember one particular game we got promoted to the Championship and we played Fulham, who I think they had Tigana, shed loads of money, all this lot. I think they'd won every game at home, all this lot. And all week, and we didn't really it was an unusual week, but we constantly worked on like not getting beaten 1-2s and all this like defensive 1-2s and all this like, and it was in every session we did. And if you got 1-2s, that's a goal against, or that's a 2 press, whatever it was, blah blah blah. And then we played against Fulham down there, who were pumping everyone, and beating 1-0. And the game was that.
Exactly what you said.
You know what I mean? They were all flair, Lee Clark, Sahar, Louis Sahar was up front.
And
all that lot. And they couldn't beat us. They couldn't get past us. And it was every day was like little bit. By that time we were drilled and we beat them 1-0. They were the only team to beat them down there. And it was like, you know what I mean? He could have said anything. Do forward roll every 2 minutes. You know what I mean? And we'd have been doing it. Do you know what I mean? But he was. And I think.
What a hero.
Yeah. And then he went to Everton and we were like, because we felt he was really tough on us. And he could be, I wouldn't say he was, you could sit and have a coffee with him. You know, that warmth of his manager, or have a chat about something outside of football. He was that intense on football, you know what I mean? And there was a question mark, how's he going to handle
the bigger stage?
The bigger players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they might be a bit different, but whatever. They bought into it. He bought into maybe, I don't know, changed his style a little bit. I don't know. His message, I don't know. But certainly his messages and his methods worked with much bigger players than what, he worked with us. And then you saw, and that's why he's managed 1,000 games at the top level, different than managing Spain. I was out of work. I think it was after Fleetwood, and I spoke to him on the phone, asked if I could come over for a few days just to, it was the first time I'd been out of football, you know what I mean? And I just wanted to go right and just see what was going on. And I was, he paid for my hotel over there.
Did he?
Malky Mackay was over there at the same time as well. So I spent a few days with Malky as well. But we had 4 days in San Sebastian, watching training, watching a game, going out for a meal at night with a gaffer and everything. It was just those little things, you know what I mean? Just brilliant.
He's factor 90, though, isn't he? Factor 90 in Spain,
Who was it? Who replaced him? Was it Craig Brown that replaced him?
Craig Brown came in, huh?
Yeah.
Another Scotsman.
Yeah, because we had 8 games from the end of the season, then Cameron Allen, he's number 2, took over, but then Craig Brown came in the summer and he brought in Billy Davis as his number 2.
Right.
And we had a really set way of play. He was a bit of a contrast from Moyes, and in how we set up, our team, it back 3 quite a lot. He brought his Scotland sort of methods and everything to Preston, and there was a bit of but we do it this way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's tough when a manager's been so successful.
That's it. And we that Fulham one was pretty much a one-off game where we just did that. Most weeks we went, this is how we play, this is what we are. So nothing changed. Yeah. And I think Craig came in and his Scotland way was, analysed the opposition, and he had, it's not club football where you're training every day. So in his international, we'd have had 10 days and do a lot of tactical work and videos for the next game, because you're getting players from all over, and brought that into Preston, and it was difficult for us to change from that to that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he brought in some brilliant players into the club, Ricardo Fuller and people like that, who were like
strong boy Ricardo Fuller. Wasn't he?
I was like, who's this guy?
Did you play against him?
I think he was at Stoke when he played.
That'd have been it. Yeah, so, but you know what I mean? And it didn't really. We didn't get to the levels that we had before in the Championship for Craig, but he was a brilliant guy. Loved playing for him. Really loyal to players who were, if you trained well and did all the right things, then he stuck with you. Yeah. Anyone who crossed the line, it was like, see you later.
What, Craig Brown would be? Would you?
Hard as nails, by the way. Right? Yeah. We were told this before, like it was like a bit of, because Craig's got this brilliant persona of
party boy.
No. A really nice genuine guy, which he is.
Yeah.
But he's ruthless as well.
Is he right?
Yeah. We saw it, like, players that didn't do what was expected or had, stand-up rows or something, didn't play again. It was like, you don't mess with this guy.
Right.
And rightly so, I think.
Yeah.
So he was a lot harder than what people see him as, great guy. Still speak to him now and then as well. He was brilliant for the 2 years that he was manager.
I want to just ask you about Billy Davies, because Billy Davies is a mystery to me. His record of management is brilliant. He's not in the job for about 5 years.
Yeah.
What was he like working there?
Well, Billy was number 2 under Craig, and then he obviously Craig unfortunately left, and then Billy had a little spell interim when I wouldn't say went back to what we were before, but he just did his thing. Right. But for us who had been there before, it was like this is what we were before under Moyes.
Yeah.
You know, back 4, midfield 4, work at balls off, in people's faces, intense, all that sort of stuff. And it was the closest I would say to Moyes is that, you know, the intensity every day, the organisation, all that sort of stuff. And got the job, and then immediately we were like got to play a final. His first full season, playoff semi-final, his second season. So it was, I had my moments with him as well, because underneath I was, he's trying to shoo me out here. He was the first manager that started resting me,
right?
Which I hated. I was like, rest me on Tuesday then when we ain't got a game. Don't rest me on a Saturday, So I'd always go in and see a manager and have a conversation, and they could be quite
heated.
Yeah, conflicted. But I played some of my best football under Billy as well. You knew exactly where you stood, on the pitch. You knew exactly what your job was. If you didn't do it, you didn't play. If you did, you played. So brilliant, perfect. And he was a brilliant coach. A brilliant coach.
Oh, training
sessions were great. They were intense. You come off sweating, work your nuts off, and you knew what was expected of you. But and then he went to Derby, got them into the Premier League. Forest as well. So I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know why the ins and outs, but certainly I had a really good time playing under him, and it felt like it was what we were before, sort of thing.
So were you quite vocal in the changing room with managers if you weren't happy with something?
Only in the office.
In the office, you never did in the dressing room?
No chance. No. I had ultimate respect for managers. Like you know what I mean? It's like, why would I do that? You know what I mean? Yeah. If I'm going to speak to you man to man, I'm going to do it man to man. So because honestly, and I get players coming in, and I tell all my players, if you're not happy, if you're not playing, come and see. Please come and see.
Do you like that? Come see you?
Yeah, 100%. Because listen, I want to have an honest conversation with them. I want them to understand why I've made a decision, and then go and show me that you can do the things to get back in the team, or you need a bit of guidance sometimes as a player. You know what I mean? And I needed that. I probably sometimes didn't think I did, but looking back, 100% I did. But if I didn't play a game, my oxygen was taken away. Honestly, I couldn't breathe.
What's that on the bench like?
I couldn't breathe.
He loved it.
I loved it.
What? Playing?
No pressure. So were you fuming?
Oh God, I just, honestly, I couldn't talk to my missus. It was like, what's the point in me being here? You know what I mean? Honestly, I was.
Are you like that when you lose a game of football as a manager?
Yeah, horrible. And I've learned now I don't speak after the game because I'm too emotional. Even after we win, get the music on, enjoy yourselves, let's go.
So you didn't speak till Monday, right?
No, I can't, because you know what I mean. It's I'm there. You know what I mean, and I think the players are as well. I think whatever you say is sometimes wrong, it's sometimes emotional, it's not coming from the right place, so we leave it. But as a player, I was, honestly, it was like...
That's brilliant, no, innit? I love that.
But do you know what I mean? So I was just waiting for my conversation. But I remember this, right? If I go back to when I was a kid at Scunthorpe, I was 19, I broke into the team, then I was in and out of the team. And I remember walking along the corridor, and you don't know what the game's about at that age. And the assistant manager, Bill Green, God bless him, he's a big joy, 6'3", but he'd been with me since I was 16, reserve team manager and all this, like, he was assistant. He said, "All right, son, Geordie boy." I don't know if that's Geordie, but he said,
"No, I was terrible."
And I said, "Yep." And honestly, he just turned on me and sort of pinned me next to the wall in the tunnel with his body. I went, "Never be all right, we're not playing," and then walked off. I was like,
And do you think that's where it started?
I don't know, but I was never all right with not playing. So I was like, you know what I mean? I think it was in me already.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if, like, professional football, I shouldn't expect to play because there's good players and all this stuff. And I was just, and he just didn't want that. He went, no. expect to play, train to play, be angry if you're not playing. And it was like, and it was just like, and he lit a flame up, which is probably a big pain in the ass for every manager that managed me after that. You know what I mean? But honestly, so any player comes in and says, I need to have a chat. And I always speak to my players, don't think you have to have a stand-up row, because they weren't stand-up rows. I go, I need to know why I'm not playing. I need to show you next week that I can do that or be that or whatever it is. And some of them did. You know, I was heated, you know what I mean, with it because, you know, of how emotional it could be. But I always felt but I had to back that up by how I performed and trained. I couldn't talk crap in an office and then train like a numpty from Monday to Friday. Yeah. I had to back it up then. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I put myself under pressure by saying, no, I can do that. But then I put myself, well, I better go and show I can do it. Yeah. Or, you know, I'm talking crap. So
what if Tony Watt came to your office and asked, can you ask your son for a few cheats for Trash Bandicoots?
You probably would have done it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but like, Tony's a perfect case in point. When, you know, I left him out the second game of the season, and he came to see me afterwards, and he come in and he said, you know, I don't want to have a stand-up row, because it doesn't have to be a stand-up row. Just say what you want to say, you know, and I'll say what I think, and hopefully we can work together and get better. I'm glad that you're not happy not playing. I want my play. I don't want. No disrespect.
No, of course
if I see a player happy to not play and just like, are you sure? Yeah. You know what I mean? I just don't see it, and it doesn't have to be a standing row. But I think you have to have that innate sort of want to play. You know what I mean? Because your career's over too soon, and you want to play. So that was with me up until honestly. I look back and I'll sort of go, you know,
was there one that got particularly...
The joke with me and Chris Leketi is going, me sitting on this side of the table as a manager, seeing me come in on that side as a player, I think we'd have been at it for about 3 hours. You know, I remember, Eddie Howe came in at Burnley, and I think I was 39. And basically, he came in January, I was immediately dropped for the next game. And then I didn't get in for a month, and I was thinking, nah, this is me. You know what I mean? He's going with this. Okay, understand it. So I wanted to leave. Yeah, because I was 39. I go, well, I just want to play. I know I'm not going to play here. I understand that. So I need to go. You go, no, you got a big part to play and all sorts. I go, okay, right. Did it. And then he goes, and every week I'm like, well, I'm playing today. Well, I'm training like this. I've done it for. And he was like, Graham, but you're 39 now. I was going, well, what? And I was like, what? And it was, but you can't, I'm either all in to play or I retire. There's no semi-retirement as a player. And I don't think, you have to ask him, but I don't think he could understand a 39-year-old so desperate to play every minute of every game and angry about it and all this lot. And I could not turn it off. I was sick. For my own benefit, I hadn't played for like 3 months. I was going, I've got to turn this off and just, because I couldn't. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to explode like that. And he couldn't understand why a 39-year-old. That's what the impression I got, was so desperate to play every single minute of every game. But I thought, well, I'm either all in or leave the room.
Yeah. But I've heard that I think Defoe was quite open about it, with how that he struggled with sort of older personalities and guys that were the senior players. Did you feel that at the time?
I don't know. Look, I can only talk from my experience. I think he wanted to take the team in a different way. And every manager, look, I've made those decisions since becoming a manager, and I thought, and I've understood, this is where he was back then. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm going to handle it in a way where I think I'm really on it, straightforward with the player. So I don't know from that, because listen, he managed in the Premier League 5 years, and obviously there's big players there and all that. So, but I think, I'm sure it was a tough time managing me right then, you know, because I was desperate to play every game, and I didn't start one game for 4 months under him, to be honest.
We need to ask you about a manager that you played under. He's a bit of a legend on the show for some of the stories. Owen Coyle.
Yeah.
Ultimate man manager.
Yeah, unbelievable.
What, just a great guy?
Yeah. Honestly, it was. Obviously, I'd signed for Burnley, and unfortunately, the manager who signed me left. You know, 3 months in, and then Coyle came in. I'll be honest, I struggled for the first 6 months understanding how he was, because he was so jovial, and we got beat 3-0 on Saturday, and then Monday it was like, morning, da-da-da. And I was going, what? Because I'm like, and Moyes was like that, Billy Davis was like that, and they were the teams that I'd had success in. I thought, no, if you want to be successful, you have to be angry and all this lot, and all this. And honestly, I was like, is he bothered about winning or losing? Honestly, this was my personal, thought process of it. But every day was enjoyable and fun, and the camaraderie we had. And I didn't have a great first year at Burnley, because I left Preston. I was a captain at Preston. I'd had a disagreement with the manager at the time, and it was my decision to leave and come to Burnley. But I spent the first year wishing I was back at Preston. And I think if my contract had run out that season, I think Coyle would have let me go, because I didn't think I played particularly well. I think I'd have been happy to go because I weren't particularly enjoying it.
Yeah.
The Burnley fans weren't having me at all either, because I was captain of Preston for 8 years, done well against them, and came and I was playing crap.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, what was the
Did
point?
that affect you that they never liked you?
No, it didn't affect me, because I was thinking, well, I'm not giving them anything to like either.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I understood my part of it. I was going, and I had a proper word with myself in that summer, going, hold on, this is when the white boots come out.
Yeah.
I need to, no, it was, honestly, generally, I didn't realise I'm a Burnley player now. Those days are gone. So I was going, right, I've got to change something. So anyway, I'm just going to, I needed to leave that behind me and go actually give these money, value for money. Burnley paid, I think, 200 grand for me at 35. Wow. So I'm not repaying that faith. Coyle was a great guy as well. So I thought, right, I'm coming back in. I've got to hit the ground running and show that I want to leave here, these going, well, he was all right, actually. He's a decent player. If I'd have left that summer, they go, shite.
Yeah.
Old over there didn't want to be here.
Did you also think, I need to buy into Owen Coyle's ways? I need to forget about previous managers?
It was a gradual thing. And that was the thing. I wanted to win. And honestly, at that point, I didn't think we were going to win, and compete at the top end. But I wanted to enjoy my football, and I was enjoying my training and the management staff and the players. It was a great group, brilliant group. So it was that. So I went, right, go back and show what you're about. So changed my way, did all that. Started the season, white boots. I'm a Burnley player. This is me, new player. Pumped 4-1, Sheffield Wednesday, dish. You know what I mean? And next week, right, it's a false start. Ipswich at home, pumped 3-0, dish. It was like, we're bottom of the championship, 1 goal, no points. And I'm like,
don't know what boots to wear the week after that. Pair of high heels.
I was but no, if I have to play at all, you know what I mean? But I'd played right back under him the whole time, right back those first 2 games. And I remember we had Crystal Palace away the week after, and no inkling at all. Overnight, down there, walking to the bus to go from the hotel to the game, and Coyle comes off the bus as I'm walking, and the old curly finger.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I'm fucking not playing, dropped. And I thought, even I'm going to struggle to fight my corner here. We've just been pumped 4-1, 3-0. And he goes, I'm going to play in front of the back 4 today, okay? I went, yep. And we walked on the bus, and that was it. No. He goes, play in front of the back 4. He goes, protect the back 4, get on the ball. And that was it.
What did you think at that stage when you were on the bus?
I was buzzing because I was playing.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? He'd go, here's the gloves, go in goal. I'd have gone, okay, right, okay. You know what I mean? But I had done a horrendous job, but I was just going, oh, God, I'm playing. Because you know what I mean? At least I'm playing. But it was like, that was it. And this is how low we were at the time. We drew 0-0 against 9 men.
Wow.
And we're high-fiving each other in the change clean sheet against 9 men. And it was like, boom, next game, 0-0. Okay. Clean sheet, clean sheet. Went to Forest the week after, we won 2-1. I scored both goals, free kick, penalty.
Oh, wow.
And then step by step, inch by inch, we were like, boom, boom, boom. Then we were having and Coyle never changed. And it was boom, boom, boom. And it was slowly, and everyone's, and what it was, we could have started that season, first 2 games, boom, through the floor. And if he hadn't been that
champion,
we would die to death. A slow, painful death for the rest of that season, but he just kept us all believing and all that sort of thing. Made a real good tactical switch by putting me in midfield. Actually, he's done now 1v1 defending as a fullback, but he can pass the ball and he's intelligent. it was quite blatant for anyone to notice in those 2 games, to be honest. But he could have either discarded me, but he actually saw that this guy is still fighting, still
needs him in the team.
I think I feel that I had a bit of an intelligence about my game, and I could pass the ball, but I couldn't do 1v1s and bomb them down the line anymore. So boom, in there, the team needed it because we were 7 goals.
It's great management.
That's what management is, isn't it?
And that was it. So we went. I think we'd gone from 4-4-2 to 4-3-3. Back for me, and then the other 5 would just go and cause havoc. And it was that, and I was sort of the insurance policy, which suited me, suited my game. But and we just done that, and then that was the year we got promoted to the Premier League.
At what stage did you think we could get promoted here?
We sort of we had a great cup run that year as well. We got to the Carling Cup semi-finals.
Is that Arsenal you played?
We beat Fulham, beat Arsenal, beat Chelsea away when it was like John Terry, Frank Lampard, all those boys, and we were like, what's going on here? Honestly, because we were a band of ragabonds. Honestly, it was a bunch of players that
Who was the players? Kev McDonald, wasn't it?
Kev came down from Scotland. We didn't know much about what a player.
Good player. Lovely football player.
And you know what? I was looking and going, my days are numbered.
There's a big centre midfielder.
He's a serious player. But we had like Tomo, Stevie Thompson, Robbie Blake.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Stevie Colwell, Clark Carlisle. We had a group of experienced, you know what I mean, players at clubs and maybe gone, that's enough for us, and bub them together. And it was a band of brothers, like with a couple of young spring chickens in there, Jay Rodriguez.
Wow, what players? Southampton?
Fletcher came when we got promoted to the Premier League. Mike Patterson, Chris Eagles and that dotted around, but it was a group of experienced players. And we got to the semi-finals of that competition, got beat 4-1 away at Tottenham in the first leg. And honestly, I swear on my life, this has only happened once in my career, and it was that game, the second leg, we were like, we can beat these 3-0.
Did you? You thought you could beat Tottenham 3-0?
Yeah, no, well, that's what we had to do and we beat them over 90 minutes, 3-0. But we were so convinced, this is going to happen. I can't wait when we win 3-0. This is going to be brilliant, because everyone's going to lose a shit. And we won 3-0 over 90 minutes, but then it went into extra time, and Jermaine Defoe scored 2 minutes from time. Got me in a 1v1, last man. And I went, honestly, it was like, shit. Whichever way he's going, he's getting a shot off. You know what I mean? But anyway, that moment then, we were like, we have to get to Wembley and get promoted. We have to. And we did. We got to Wembley against Sheffield United. And I'd been in the playoff final twice in the Championship with Preston and got beat both times. And up to that point, I'd been in 6 playoffs as a player and got beat every time. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And this was my 7th playoff for the Championship, and I was 37. And then for the Premier League, and the cynical old man in me was saying, you're going to get beat again.
Oh, no.
You're going to be heartbroken again. You're not getting to the Premier League again, Grace. You know what I mean? That voice in there, like, slapping me down. And Coyle and all the...
Sandy Stewart.
Can't wait to play Sheffield United. We've beaten them twice already this season. We're going to run all over them. We're going to do this. And everything had been all positive all the time. And I went... And I just put all my old cynicism to the side. I went, this is going to happen with this group of people. I'm just going to be like these. You know what I mean? I'm just going to believe like him, believe like these, because these are just going in fresh. Of course we're going to win. Honestly, and it was just, I sort of let myself relax and just go and enjoy it. I was out of contract, didn't know what was going to happen after that, but I thought, this is my final chance of getting to the Premier League, and obviously we won 1-0. But then it was like straight after about half an hour, shit, I'm out of contract. I bet. I was like trying to pin Coyle down that night. You're going to keep me in, you're going to make a contract. I've got to play in the Premier League and all this lot. And he was going, if I'm here, you're here.
That was the best thing in the
But then
world.
the next day it was all about him going to Celtic and all that lot.
So it was.
And I was like, so that night I was like, brilliant, Gaffer. But I woke up the next day, I'm thinking, if he goes Celtic, I'm screwed. Some other managers is coming. And I was like, see you later, old man. I'm not going to play in the Premier League. And then he stayed, and immediately we got the contract sorted. And then the captain was injured for the first game of the season next year in the Premier League. So I was the vice captain. I was the lean out, and I was just like, And it was like this, but all that summer I was like, people, you're in the Premier League now? Yeah, not till I kick the ball.
Yeah.
Not a Premier League till I kick the ball. So like we went out to Stoke and I don't know if it was Robbie Blake saying, pass it to me.
Pass it back, yeah.
Kick off, pass
Get
it
that
to me.
passing.
boom, pass it to the full-back. I went, now I'm a Premier League player.
I'm so excited about it. Who was the best player you played against in the Premier League?
In the Premier League?
I know there's lots of them, but
it was phenomenal. But
it's a silly question, isn't it?
No, but
it's a good one, I like it.
The one player that, and it hurts me now because of what happened last week, but the one player I couldn't get near was Steven Gerrard. I just thought, I can't get near you.
Everything.
I couldn't get near. And if I get my head up to pass it, you're going to be all over me like a rash. And that's pretty much what it was. There was other teams that we played against, Tottenham and even Man United. We played against Man United and it was Scholes and Gata. But it was almost like, yeah, you can play, but then we'll play. It was a bit like that. Yeah, I actually played against them. I was like, I'm spraying the ball over here. I'm playing. And then it's like, boom, boom, boom. And it's like, hey, we're 3-0 down. What happened there? You know what I mean? But I was getting my pass off and it was so it was almost like that. But then in that game, it was like, I can't get close to you. You know what I mean? It's like round the corner, buying one tie or letting it run through you. And he's so tall and strong and fast.
Smashes you.
And then I'm getting my head up and and I was out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was actually genuinely going, I actually don't know how I'm going to get better than you, better than you. So those types.
Did he remember you, Gerrard?
I doubt it. Bloody hell, not a chance. So, no, I didn't. Listen, we don't talk about, in that sort. But I think that's when when you understand that, I can see why these players are top players for 15, 20 years. Because if you were like that when you were 19, getting, you know what I mean, and all the experience you've added since then is brilliant. But brilliant. Honestly, the 18 months, that 18 months was probably my favourite time.
Best dressing room you played under the Burnley one?
And this is no disrespect to all the successful teams, the successful teams played at Preston and everything. It was just the fun we had.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the nights and things we had, because it was mental. It was absolutely mental. It was just mental. It was like, so we'd have, Corey's brilliant at, the dressing room banter and all this lot. So he'd be playing head tennis. So we'd get in and he'd get whatever bin was there and he'd put it down in the middle of the change room while we're all, getting ready and kitted up. And him and Robbie Blake would be playing head tennis.
The Gaffer.
So you'd be putting shin pads and a ball would hit in the face like that. And Coyley's like, all the little things against Blakey in the change room. He's doing it at Wembley in the playoff final. You know what I mean? Where's it been? There it is, poof down and all this lot. And all that
so Owen Coyle and Robbie Blake had a game of head tennis in the dressing room before the playoff final?
Yeah, and he was it was just that. It was just like, this is just another game. Honestly, I was so relaxed going into that game. It was just that. And I remember him saying, right at the start of the season, we played, so in the early rounds of that League Cup, I was 36. So we played somebody from the lower leagues. It might have been Bury or Oldham, I think, right? And we had Preston on Saturday in the league. And Coyley comes up to me on the Monday. He said, listen, we think about tomorrow, just leaving tomorrow and resting you tomorrow because we've got Preston on Saturday. I know it's a big game for you because I've just left there, all this sort of stuff. And he goes, and I just said to him, I goes, Gaffer, I can never say to you that I don't want to play a game of football. I goes, if you make a decision, you're in your eyes. But I am never going to say I don't want to play a game of football. Ever. Yeah, okay. And then walked off. So I didn't know if I was going to play now, but I played absolutely every single game under him until he left. You know what I mean? Yeah. It weren't because, because I threatened him or anything like that. It wasn't that. He just knew that I didn't want to be rested. Yeah. I was all in every day with a cup final for me, all that sort of stuff. And I started 61 games that season for Burnley. You know what I mean? I was 36.
36?
Aye. And I played 5 times for Scotland as well that season. So, you know what I mean? And then, because I think he played till he's 40, I think.
Was he still joining in training as well?
Mate,
did you ever smash him in training?
No, because he was always on my team, because he always did young v old. Right. So it was like, so this is the thing, right? So he'd go young v old, like, and it'd be, but he would train, Sandy would train, and Steve Davis, his first team coach, would train, right? So because it was young v old, all 3 coaches were on our team. And I'm desperate to win. You know what I mean? We've got 3 coaches on our team. You know what I mean? It was like, I was spewing it. Honestly, I remember the first day, right? He joined in training and he chipped our goalkeeper, Brian Jensen, the beast. Yeah. He was 6'4", 6'5", and Coyley chipped him from about 5 yards out. Honestly, it was like bubbled and Boisty come out like that, and he sort of half volleyed over his head and in like that. We're like, and Coyle, see that, boys? See that? And you couldn't help. He played reserve games and all this. Like he just honestly trained, and he did this game that we played, and he had like 4-4-2, and it'd be the left back and left centre half. So you'd all be in pairs. So it'd be me and you, and we'd play right back and right centre half for 5 minutes, and then we'd go to there for 5 minutes, then we'd go there 5 minutes. Nice. So you play all the way through the team. But then, so you had to have your spell, and then I was his partner in training. So you go, right, me and you, Gres, and we'd start off like right back and centre half, and as soon as for the whistle, he just pissed off up front. You go out, up front, and then 5 minutes we have and go, right, me and you left centre half, left back, and everyone would rotate, and go, up front, straight up front. Right. So wherever I played, I just played on my jack, and it's just, honestly, it's just stuff like that. And we'd have, we'd have shooting competitions, and whoever lost would bring in the donuts and the iron brew. Yeah. So we'd have the donuts. So whoever lost, the team that lost that would bring in the Krispy Kremes. And I remember the first time, right, this was early on, and the first time he brought, one of the players brought him in, right, and put them in the fridge. And a couple of boys, like, because it was a bit of a mad place, started eating them. Like, this is like 9:15 in the morning. Yeah. And there's one box gone, another box gone, then the third box is half eaten, like that. And then Coyle comes in and saying, "Oh, no, he's gone. What's going on here?" Like that. And he goes, "Who's nicked the chocolate dream cake? That's my favourite." He's gone, I said, "I always want the dream." He's gone in the other box. He's gone out. I thought he's going to go nuts because lads have all eaten a donut before training. It's like, who's it? The chocolate dream cake. And I was just, wow. You know what I mean? It was just, but honestly, we'd run through brick walls for him to dive. You know what I mean? And it was, honestly, I've never laughed so much in my career or my life than those 18 months. That the year that we got promoted and the first 6 months of the Premier League until he obviously went involved. But what a guy! And I still speak to him every now and then. Yeah,
have you heard Fletcher's story about him? Yeah. Stephen Fletcher, when he came down to do his medical, I think the doctor was taking a while to get ready. So Owen Coyle was like, "Fancy a game of head tennis?" Fletcher's like, "When?" He's like, "No, before the medical." Fletcher's like, "Right." He says, "So we're playing head tennis. The doctor's taking ages." He's like, "Fancy a McDonald's?" So he played head tennis with Owen Coyle for like 15 minutes, went for a McDonald's, then came back and did his medical.
Wow, man. Right, so you just don't know, but did he have the other side to him where it could be hard on boys and...
Do you know, it's like...
Because I thought you would need that as a...
Maybe when you've got so many experiences.
Maybe. You know what, right? I remember like we got beat by Wolves in this was his first season, and he's come in and I don't know something must have peed him off proper because it didn't really happen that often, but he's going nuts. And that's booting things, and his teeth popped out. so like, his teeth go, but he's caught him in his gob, and he's like, and then fuck yours, like that, right? And then, and you know, as soon as that's happened, and all our heads are going out. Look, you can see it's like that, and then we start trolling towards the showers, and he's in there like that, and he's fucking putting them back in like that, and he's going, "I can't believe none of you bastards left." See what I mean? So he's ripped into us, but straight away, it's like, he's like bum like that, and all this like, and I remember we had a pre-season trip up here. Actually, it was that year actually, and I'll tell that story and I'll put myself in the shit. But we went out, and I overdid it a little bit, and we came back to the hotel, and I stayed up with a couple of other boys, just having a drink. Carried on, and before we know it, it's near the morning. I'm like, but we go to bed anyway. And so he comes down to go for his run because he loved running and being fit. And someone from the hotel said, "Oh, by the way, some of your boys were in here, and I think they've gone to that room." And we're sort of
still on it.
Only there's three of us, just a couple of beers, and he's banged on the door, and it's Gaffer. It's the Gaffer. He's come back in. I guess you got to let him in. You know, he knows we're in there. You got to let him in. Oh, shite. Anyway, he's come in, and I'm sat there in the chair, and he's coming down the corridor, and I think it was I ain't going to say the other lads because it would be out of order. So he's ripping into him as he walks down the corridor, and he's come around the corner and he said, "Greza, not you." 10 minutes, see me down there. Oh, so anyway, come down, the three of us. Week's wages. Yeah, not a problem. We were totally out of order like that. And then I pulled him later that day. I thought I'll let him count down, pulled him later. I said, I apologise. You're right, week's wages, apologise. Out of order, should be sent a better example of that. You shouldn't. And then a couple of days later, he's gone, nice. Half a week's wages, right? Half a week's wages. Tell the other two, half a week's wages. I've gone, okay, cheers, Gaffer. I appreciate that. A week later, I can't take money off my books. I can't take money. I'll never. You work hard enough for your money and all this stuff. I can't. Honestly.
What a hero.
Honestly, a week later, because I was thinking, how do I tell Mrs. find a week's wages? You know what I mean? And honestly, but it was that where I was going, I can't let him down ever again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I actually can't do it. You know what I mean? Amazing. And that was at the start of that season. You know what I mean? I just thought,
amazing.
I got to die for you because, you know what I mean? And that was it. And honestly, 8 years, I can't find a player.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, do you not find players now?
No, I can't.
Wow.
Because they work hard enough, you know what I mean? And listen, we all make mistakes. That was me making a mistake at 37, God's sake.
Yeah. Stupid
mistake. So we've all been there, you know what I mean? Listen, I don't condone it. I was way out of line. But the way he dealt with it was like, you know what I mean? And I thought, I've got to pay.
Proper guy.
Yeah.
Graham Alexander.
It's been my favourite one ever. Unbelievable.
Amazing, mate. Any manager that's coming on, that's the standard. Don't be coming on with your bullshit answers.
But just, I'm your 5-a-side team.
There you go.
Are you played with or played against, Simon?
We'll go play with.
Aye, because that means more, doesn't it, to you?
So it can be retired players or players that are still playing. 1 goalie and 4 outfields.
Right, do you know what I'm going to do, right, to settle in? Because I get asked this, you know what I mean? I'll play with more than 11 good players, good mates, all that sort of stuff. So it's really hard, but I'll go with David Lucas in goal, because great goalkeeper, great guy.
You need him in the showers as well, right?
I'm not going there. I'll go with big Chris Leakey, who's the assistant now, because I was crap in the air. Anything in the air, I'll say, here you go, Skip, and it would go 100 miles, and he did all the stuff I didn't want to do. So, brilliant.
So what, you playing in a diamond?
What's it, a 5-side? So we've only got 4 players? 4 outfield players? Bloody hell. Am I in it? I can't be in it.
You can't. You're the manager.
I can't be in it. That I played with, I'll go with Brian O'Neill. Celtic Scotland.
Preston, that's right. He was an agent for a bit. Is that a good player?
Yeah. Top player. Great guy as well. He was up here actually. He was up here for a couple of days last week. So
where are you playing him? Midfield?
Yeah, midfield.
Right.
Because me and him used to fight every game because I wanted to make all the passes as a right back. He played centre midfield. He wanted to make all the passes, so he'd come short for me, and I'd be playing the passes. He said, "Guys, give me the ball." I go, "You're only going to do what I'm going to do." This, I'm passing it forward and all this stuff. So great guy, top man.
I remember him at Celtic. He was a good player. So
good defender, good defensive midfield player that can link. And I'm going to go 2 absolute mavericks up front: Robbie Blake and James McFadden.
Oh.
Because if it's 5-side, it's a small pitch, and you need people that have got the ability.
Blake was a joke. Remember his volley against Man United?
Right. Yeah, that was it. Oh, but you know what? You know when he did? If you go back the scene before in the Championship, have a look at some of the goals he scored in that year, mate. It was just frightening. So when he scored, you know when he dropped down, we were like, that's a goal. Yeah. We were almost like running towards him as he was dropping down, because honestly, he did that nearly every day, right and left foot, half volleys, all that. Unbelievable player. Because I played against Blake Hill quite a lot of times, Preston Burnley, and I was like, a bit of a trickster, a bit of a show pony or something like that. Nah, he was a phenomenal player. Phenomenal player, man.
And Faddy.
So him and Faddy would just be like...
What was Faddy? Scotland then, huh? Scotland Faddy, he played down?
Yeah, played with him.
And what?
He was just like Blakey, really, but in international. He was like, you know, when I come back in the Scotland squad, we were very settled, hard to beat. We went in games and we could see ourselves keeping clean sheets and stuff like this. But we had to go, well, yeah, but who's going to get us a goal? And we had Kenny Miller who run his socks off and nick a goal, and he was a really good player as well. You know what I mean? But we had to get support for him. Whereas, as you saw in Paris, it was basically, we could just do this in front of goal and try and get the ball to him as often as possible and just go, either take 5 players on or bang it in the top corner from 35 yards because he's just like that sort of thing. And you always went on the pitch going. And I was saying with Blakey at Burnley, I think however hard the game will be, we got a chance of winning with them in the team. And that's what I love about playing with those guys. And I appreciate those guys more as an older player playing with them and now as a manager than I probably did as a young player.
So what, you go on low block and leave?
We're just going to get Chris Leckay to smash the hell out of everyone that comes anywhere near the goal. Brian and Neil will start the play off and then just get the ball to them too and they can do their own things.
Gary Neville, director of football on the 5-a-side. Graham Alexander, what a guy.